Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be doing a bottle art with homemade clay, and first of all we need to sketch out the scenery that we want. I'm using the homemade clay and I'm pressing that with my fingers to get a rock-like structure. Now I'm making a waterfall, and for that I've applied glue on the bottle and I'm placing small long pieces of the clay. For making that, take a piece of clay and roll it in your hands like this and place that very gently where you want it to be. Now I'm using a needle to make the impressions of the waterfall. If you're interested in knowing how I made my homemade clay, I'll link the video in the comment section below, in which I've showed the recipe and the process of making the clay. Now I'm applying glue to stick more clay on the bottle. Cut off excess clay with a knife. For getting a grass texture, I'm using a toothbrush. Now I'm pressing that with my fingers. Now I'm trying to make some branches for the trees. Apply glue and stick the clay to look like branches, and also press that with your fingers a little bit so that it will get a 3D effect. Now for making it look like a tree bark, I am using a needle itself, and first make a design like that, and now I'm drawing some lines with the needle itself. Next, for making the leaves, take some clay and stick that to the branches like this. For making the impressions, I'm using this kind of stick. You can also use a clay tool if you have one. I've used this, so if you don't have anything like this, use the back, the rounded edge of a safety pin. Once it all dries, apply the background color, and for that, here I'm choosing a yellow and orange color. So take enough of both the colors. If you're into craft art and you also want to see such bottle art videos, make sure to subscribe, because that's what my channel is all about. use a sponge to blend that. If you use a damp sponge, you can blend the colors very easily. We need the sponge to be just damp. We don't want the sponge to be dripping wet. The same process for both the sides. Now our background is dried completely. Next, I'm taking some brown color and I'm adding a little bit of black to that to make a darker shade of brown. I'm using that color to paint on the rock portion. Now I've painted the rock portion. Next, take some brown acrylic paint and give color to the bark of the tree. Now I'm taking sap green shade and I'm giving that for the grass area. One thing that you want to keep in mind while painting the clay elements is that be careful not to apply the paint onto the background. Next, I'm taking some sap green shade and I'm adding a little bit of black acrylic paint to it. And I'm giving the first coat of paint to the leaves. Next, I'll paint the waterfall with a very light blue shade. Now I'll add some white highlights for a waterfall. then add some touches of dark blue shade. For highlighting our leaves, I'm using a sap green shade and I'm using my fingers to apply that. You can use a dry brush if you're comfortable with it, but I feel the better result is from using your fingers. I've did the same process for all the leaves. Next, I'm taking a very light brown shade in my hands for giving the highlights for our tree bark. For making this brown shade, I've mixed burned sienna with lemon yellow acrylic paint. This video on the screen right now shows how I made my air dry clay. So click and watch the video.